tobacco seizure sets sparks flying.
There is a guideline of 3,000.
It's a guideline.
Yeah, but it's still 90. I'm giving you my. I'm not going to argue about it. I'm giving you my reasons.
Suspicions are raised on board searcher when a sailor tries to stop officers coming on board.
Come on board when I get back to port.
We're coming on board now, sir.
And Rossi sniffs out Class A drugs in Gatwick.
It's a drugs dog. Explained to you from your baggage, and I've got a very high hit for traces of cocaine.
Customs officers are always on high alert for bootleggers using cheap flights to bring in tobacco to sell illegally on the UK's booming black market. In Bristol, officers have received intelligence that a known bootlegger is returning from Malaga in a group of 4. The main target had over 26 kilos of tobacco seized only 2 weeks ago. Will he be mad enough to try again?
Oh, there we go. Tobacco. Lots of it.
The X-ray has found 4 bags full of tobacco. Now it's up to Anne and the team to stop and question the passengers and prove that the tobacco is not for their own personal use. Bootleggers come in all shapes and sizes. This time it's a retired couple who pick up 3 of the 4 suspect bags and then split from the group. They almost make it through the channels, but Anne closes in.
Is it only the 2 of you? Yeah.
The 3 holdalls are stacked with tobacco. The main target has slipped through empty-handed, but the final passenger in the group isn't so lucky. Her bag contains 30 kilos of tobacco, 10 times the guidelines. The couple have another 57 kilos. Altogether, an amount like this is a criminal matter. No wonder they're pretending not to know each other.
Okay, I'm just going to do a couple of checks on your passport a minute.
They're saying they're travelling just together, don't they?
Yeah.
Get them to say that again. She's saying she's travelling on her own. They're in a group. They're together.
Yes.
They've got 57 kilos between them.
Isn't that arrestable?
Could be. Only if we can tie them in together.
Tying the passengers to each other proves a little easier than Anne and Joe expected.
Are you together or do you know each other?
Well, we've come together.
Are you travelling together? You're travelling together, okay. They've all just admitted that they're travelling together because they were talking to each other.
Did they say that initially when you stopped?
No,
you
lied.
Travelling by yourself.
Yeah. So obviously I don't believe that this sort of amount can be for your own personal use.
Believe that.
The sheer amount that you've brought in.
I've never been in trouble with the police, never been in trouble with the customs. We smoke tobacco, and that is for our use.
They have enough tobacco to last 14 years, but it was split between 3 passengers, so it won't be treated as criminal. But they will now be interviewed to decide the fate of the tobacco.
I do not believe for 1 minute that that is for their own personal use. Even if they were smoking, 100 cigarettes a day.
He seems pretty adamant that he's done nothing wrong, and
that's right.
That's the most I've seen come through the airport in the last couple of years, I must say.
At this point, most bootleggers simply admit defeat and abandon their goods. But this passenger decides he won't go down without a fight. In Gatwick, sniffer dog Rossi and his handler Claire are targeting another Spanish flight, this time for Class A drugs. Each dog has only one handler, and their close bond means that Claire knows when Rossi picks up even a hint of drugs.
They want to stand still for a second, please.
The passenger is intercepted and seems very nervous, but Andy's bag search finds nothing.
What's that? Just a charm.
Not convinced, Andy swabs the bag for drugs and picks up a massive hit for cocaine.
Quick chat with him. He's very, very nervous. And taking an iron track off there, got a hit of 4, so I'm going to get an SOP in him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's got something on him.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Okay.
It seems Rossi and Claire were right. So Andy confronts the passenger with the evidence.
It's a drugs dog. I've spoken to you. You seem very nervous, okay? I've taken a swab, as I explained to you, from your baggage, and I've got a very high hit for traces of cocaine. So what I want to do is search you to make sure you have nothing on you.
No problem, sir.
Okay, you
No
understand
problem,
that?
sir. Yes, yes, no
Okay.
problem.
Do you have
Don't
any
worry.
objections to that?
Pardon,
You have
sir?
any objection? Any problem with that?
No, you
okay,
can check
good.
me everything that you want.
Okay. Would you like to come this way?
The passenger is playing innocent, but the search of person will prove if he's telling the truth. Back in Bristol, Ant's preparing for a fight with the passengers caught with 87 kilos of tobacco. They have enough tobacco to last a heavily addicted smoker 14 years, but neither have yet asked for a cigarette.
You said that I took an hour to write up my notebook.
No, you left us outside waiting for it.
Yeah, you actually said that I took an hour to write up my notebook. That were your.
I said, my specific words were, you left us sitting out there for an hour in the freezing cold.
Well,
I
you
did
went
not
to write
say, but don't, let's get it straight.
Okay, well,
Little
I'll tell you
girl,
what.
if you're
no,
going to write...
don't try and intimidate me.
You are intimidating me.
No,
Little
not
girl,
at all.
you write
I've
it
just been
properly.
straight with you.
Do your job properly, or don't do it at all. Bring somebody else
Look,
in.
if
and
you're
do
going
it
to take
again.
this attitude,
Yes.
I'm not going to interview you.
Don't
I'll
then.
invite you back at a different date when you calm
you
down.
come to my house and interview me. if you
No,
invite me
that
back.
doesn't happen.
Well, you
I'm
bring
sorry.
somebody else then.
Until you're prepared to speak to me in a
Well,
proper
don't
manner,
miss-
I won't
have-
deal with you.
What planet are you on, for goodness sake? You people, get to the dock, stop the people coming in.
that-
Do your job.
Okay. So
You
you're-
don't do the little end. You're like policemen who pick people up for parking, catch the criminals. We're not criminals.
Well, actually, it's a very large quantity of cigarettes.
Wait, no, it's tobacco. You want to get that
Right.
right. But it is not a large quantity
It
for
is a
somebody
large
that smokes
quantity.
all the time.
It is
Two
a-
people. Really?
It's a-
You smoke, do you?
It's a large quantity.
Do you smoke, do
It's
you?
irrelevant what
Do you
it is.
oh, it is, because you're telling me it's a large quantity. I'm saying, did you smoke?
No,
You're
I
not
don't.
qualified to judge, are you?
I am, because I'm
No, you're not.
qualified.
Bring somebody in that's qualified to judge. You don't smoke. You don't know how much tobacco goes in a rollie, do you?
Yes.
You haven't got a clue.
Well, look.
Right.
I'm not-
So anyway, go away. Bring the little girl back with what I've just said.
No, you don't speak to us like that.
Why not? This is disgraceful, and it will not end here, I can tell you. We are not criminals. And you are treating us like criminals.
Picking out the criminals amongst the innocent passengers is a skill that comes only from experience. And customs officers in Gatwick have seen it all when it comes to the risks smugglers will take to make money from drugs. One smuggler that stands out from all the rest is Paul Brady.
Well, when I stopped Mr. Brady in the Green Channel, I examined his baggage and found really nothing of customs interest at all. But there was something about him that I wasn't satisfied with. And generally, if somebody hasn't got anything in their baggage of customs interest, then they may have smuggled it elsewhere. So Mr. Brady was then taken to a private room and he was searched.
The body search found nothing, so suspicions now centred on what Brady might have hidden inside his body.
A sample of urine was taken from him and tested on our machine at Gatwick, and the result indicated the presence of cocaine inside of his body. And I then arrested him on suspicion of importing a controlled drug into the UK, concealed internally.
Officers wanted to X-ray Brady to prove he'd swallowed packages of cocaine, but he refused. Instead, he was detained in a Gatwick custody cell while officers waited for the evidence to emerge. Brady had begun a waiting game that would go down in customs history.
He was refusing to eat any food. He refused to drink any drinks that we provided to him unless it was a can of Coke which he could open himself, and that's all he would do. And of course this went on and on.
Without food, it soon became a week without him going to the toilet. But officers had Brady under 24-hour surveillance to ensure none of the vital evidence was missed.
We had to have grounds to keep him in our custody when we had to go in front of the magistrate every 7 days. One of the things we did was to iron scan his suit, and this indicated whether we still may have the cocaine level was actually going up, which it was.
After 3 weeks, and with drugs seeping into his system, they began to fear for Brady's life, but he refused to give in.
It would only take a very small amount to actually kill the person outright, so it's a dangerous thing to do anyway.
After a staggering 48 days of defiance, it was the smell of the custody officer's lunch which finally forced Brady to crack.
After 48 days, I was actually off shift and I was at home, and I had a call from my main manager at Gatwick, who telephoned me to said yes, he's produced. So it was quite an emotional time, and I still feel quite emotional talking about it now. So it was sort of relief.
Consuming his first meal for 7 weeks, the officers wouldn't have to wait long to get their hands on the evidence.
And it just gave in completely, so he must have been absolutely starving, but obviously the body couldn't take it. And I had to sit with him along with my colleagues to recover the remaining packages from his body.
The stubbornness of Brady was beaten only by the determination of the officers at Gatwick.
I mean, give him his due, he gave it a good try, didn't he? And he pleaded the only thing he could do best, which was to plead guilty at Croydon Crown Court, where the judge gave him the sentence of 5 years. And that's something I'm proud of, you know, so it was good.
In Gatwick, Andy's search of person has identified the cause of the positive cocaine hit. The man has confessed to using cocaine whilst in Spain.
So you say the reason for the high reading that we got here was because you had a couple of lines of coke yesterday?
Oh, okay.
Yeah? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite high. You use it quite regularly?
No, not very much actually. Okay. Not very much.
Having confessed to using cocaine abroad, the man's now trying to avoid trouble.
Came up with a very high reading for cocaine. When I put that to him, just inside the room there, why that would be, he said, well, he had a couple of lines of coke yesterday with his girlfriend, which would do the trick. So stripped him off, nothing there at all, and he gradually calmed down once he realised that that was what we were going to do. So,
No guilt, yeah?
thank you. Welcome. Bye.
The high reading was from personal use, so a disappointed Andy has to let him go.
So, nothing today, maybe next time.
Customs ship Searcher has tracked a yacht sailing towards the southwest coast of England. Within the 12-mile limit, any vessel is a potential smuggler, and customs officers have the power to board and search.
This is the 6 miles. You can see that the target vessel that we're interested in is just off the 6-mile limit, so he's well within the 12.
What's using the
The cutter launches the high-speed rib team from the stern, giving the yacht no time to hide any goods on board or jettison any drugs into the sea. The boarding team don't need the skipper's permission, but he seems unaware of their powers.
Customs, sir, we're just going to pop on board for a second.
Come on board when I get back to port.
When we get back to port, we've actually got to come on board now, sir.
Pardon?
We're coming on board now, sir. How long have you been over in the Scillies?
2 days.
2 days.
I can hear the rib crew saying they're going to take some swabs on board the vessel, some iron track swabs, and then they're going to bring them back to the cutter, and we can test to see if there's any traces of narcotics or explosives on the yacht.
To avoid upsetting innocent sailors as much as possible, the drug swabs quickly identify any wrongdoing. The man's initial attitude may be a good sign of a smuggler, but the swabs will be the ultimate test.
If he's got anything on his hands, that will have moved onto the tiller. Nothing there. The swabs are negative, and there's no trace of any drugs on that particular boat. All negative. Nice, clean yacht.
Okay. Fair dues. Let's get the boys back in then.
Quickly exonerating the innocent is as important as arresting the guilty, and this sailor is free to continue his journey. And after the 12-hour shift, the cutter Searcher returns to port. Meanwhile, in Gatwick, police have arrested a man as he stepped off a flight from the Caribbean. His problems get worse when the officers bring him through customs.
He's dressed very smartly. Why is he wearing a suit? Was he sitting in economy or was he flying Virgin upper class? Why did he wear a suit? No one else in the flight is wearing a suit.
But, we'll find out. We'll ask him a few questions. Well, what's happened is that the police had warrants, outstanding warrants for this man. And as soon as he came off the plane, they arrested him at that stage. And they've brought him up here. And as the flight is one which has brought previous jobs to us, shall we say, they asked us if we wanted to have a look through his luggage. And the obvious thing is that, given the risk of drugs coming in from there, we said yes. So we've gone through the luggage, and what we want to do now is just to make sure he's got no drugs on his person.
Many smugglers try hard to look innocent, and Chris asks permission to do a body search.
He's arrived on a flight from Montego Bay. Yeah. And as you can see, he's probably the most smartly dressed guy on the flight, dressed in a suit, which is ostensibly a holiday destination. It seems as though he's got various layers on as well. Yeah. So I just want to rub him down, make sure there's nothing under all those layers.
That's fine, Chris. Yeah, 8:15.
Thank you. Cheers. Okay, if you come this way.
With us as well. Stay with him. Right, if you can follow us.
Okay.
Catching drug smugglers is a daily occurrence at Gatwick, and officers find packages in a variety of places. The strip search is as uninvasive as possible, but it's an uncomfortable experience, especially when Jeff discovers the initial reason for the man's arrest.
He's actually wanted for a driving offence, but you know, we have to make sure 100% certain. So we did a quick search and nothing was found, so we've handed him back to the police. He's been rearrested and taken back down to the station.
This man isn't a smuggler and leaves cooperatively with the police. Meanwhile, in Bristol, 3 passengers have been caught with 87 kilos of tobacco, but they're not going quietly.
You have treated us really badly, really badly, like we've done something wrong.
Until you're prepared to speak to me in a proper manner, I won't deal with you.
It's the biggest haul the team have seen in years, but the man is adamant it's not being brought in to sell on the black market. Anne's decided to interview the man to see if he's telling the truth. If not, the £11,000 worth of tobacco will all be seized and destroyed.
How much do you smoke a week on average?
So, 2-3 packs a day, so...
2 or 3 50-gram packs?
Yeah, generally 2.
Okay.
So.
How many cigarettes do you tend to make from one 50-gram pouch of tobacco? What could you get?
30.
Okay. Have one 50-gram pouch. On a good day, he gets 20 out of it. Okay, sorry. He would expect those goods to last him 9 to 10 months.
All right, give him the benefit of the doubt. 30 kilos are for him.
Yeah.
That's 600 pouches, and he reckons 10 months.
Yeah, definitely not longer than a year. Because he bought the same amount last year. And
that means he's going to be smoking 8.5 pouches a week. Totally and utterly ridiculous.
Oh, he says he smokes 2 pouches a day. 2 to 3 pouches a day.
A day?
The only thing I haven't asked it is about rolling. Because are we allowed to ask that? Are we?
What do you mean? Get him to roll you one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to roll one of these for me.
Really? I'm
Yeah.
not playing any silly games.
Well, you've said that you can roll.
Look, I've been very good. I've played the game.
Yeah,
you've
but
asked
I'm not
all the
asking.
questions. You've asked, and if you really think at 65 years old I haven't smoked all my life, I'm now going to play a silly game.
I'm asking you to roll one cigarette.
No way. I'm not being silly. No way. That's insulting.
The 2 other passengers have had their goods seized. And now the moment of truth. Anne has to decide if the angry passenger gets to keep his tobacco. And he's not going to be happy.
I've looked over what has been said today, and you failed to satisfy me that the tobacco is for your own use for the following reasons. I'll give you the reasons. 1, the excessive quantity is actually 9 times over the guideline of what you are supposed to bring in from an...
Not what I'm supposed to smoke, yeah, fine. When you say guideline...
Yeah, there is a guideline of 3,000...
It's a guideline,
yeah, but it's still 9... I'm giving you my... I'm not going to argue about it. I'm giving you my reasons. Consumption, 3 pouches a day is grossly excessive.
There you are, right, yeah, okay, go on. Right, you're going to tell me what to smoke now.
You've got no smoking paraphernalia at all.
That's correct.
You refuse to roll a cigarette for no reason.
Correct. Not for no reason. I made it clear
It's not
to you
credible.
that I'm not going to demonstrate.
Okay, fine. You refuse to
drink a cup of tea.
I didn't ask you to
a bottle of wine.
drink
No,
a
I'm
cup of
telling you
tea.
that. You asked me to do something just as benign.
can you just listen,
So
please?
just sign it, please, and we can get to the court.
Right. It's not credible to import this quantity when travelling again in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Inconsistencies in your account. You actually said...
Inconsistencies in my account?
Just let me finish,
Yeah, go on,
right?
let's hear it.
You actually said that on the same flight, your son and a female friend of his travelled, whereas your wife told Mr. Hanlon that nobody else that you knew travelled. That is the point. That is the point.
If we were travelling on
We're
our
not
own?
going to...
When you were being questioned, did they ask you if you're travelling on our own? Yeah, well, we are.
Well, you're not because you know other...
Well, no, I knew
are you
another lady I was
suggesting
sitting beside.
that Mrs. didn't know that her own son was also
what
on the
I'm
flight?
saying to you is, we are travelling on our own. That's what my wife said. Anyway, get to it.
It's
come
also not credible to get only 20, or 30 or even 40 cigarettes from a 50-gram pouch of tobacco.
Right then.
Generally, you would get at least 80 to 100 cigarettes out of...
Not if you roll them in a bag.
What, so are you suggesting that you roll them...
I'm not suggesting anything. Let's go to court and have my solicitor run
Okay,
rings round you.
if you could sign. Look, you
And
need to
declared it
sign
both
the
ends.
date as well.
Sign the
please.
date. You put the date. You don't
Look,
sign
I'm
the
not
date.
going to argue with you about sign.
I'm just trying to get you to behave correctly.
I don't think I need you to teach me how to do that.
Somebody needs to teach you.
I could say the same about you.
Anne's ordeal is finally over.
He was trying to intimidate me, I think perhaps because he thought I was a girl, like he was calling me little girl and stuff and waving his finger in my face. But that doesn't intimidate me. He was just nitpicking at things, really, because he knew that he hadn't got a leg to stand on.
The passengers walk away empty-handed, having lost 87 kilos, which will now all be destroyed. In Gatwick, a flight has just arrived from Trinidad. It's a well-known source of cocaine, and sniffer dog Rossi has just seconds to pick out any smugglers hiding amongst the innocent passengers.
Okay, thank you.
Your voice looks frightened.
Thank you. That's it. Okay.
Suddenly, Rossi picks up a scent and targets a woman in a white jumper.
Just stand still for me.
UK border sniffer dogs are trained to pinpoint the exact location of any drugs. Rossi indicates on the woman's bag.
Are you together? Are you training by yourself?
The passenger seems nervous, but after the initially strong indication, Rossi loses interest.
Where? Okay, thank you, madam. That's fine, thank you. He basically pulled to get to her, or get to her scent, so I dropped the lead, and he was all around her rucksack, and he dropped the floor, so he tried to get underneath it.
Back down into the channels anyway, just in case your guys have picked anything up down there.
Yeah, I might see what's in her bag anyway.
Meanwhile, Gatwick's newest drug dog, Barney, is examining the baggage from the same flight. Barney gives his strongest indication yet on this black and white spotted suitcase.
I've got a feeling it could be this lady here.
Officers watch as the same woman collects the bag.
And it is. All right, thank you.
With two separate indications, the officers think she must be smuggling cocaine. The team must keep the suspect under surveillance to make sure she doesn't slip away. But surprisingly, it's her who approaches the officers to ask for some directions. Fitz intercepts the passenger.
Hi, where are you travelling from today?
Here called Trinidad.
Trinidad. You travel on your own?
Yeah.
Okay, just have a quick word if that's all right. Hello.
But now the suspect seems more relaxed, even as Barney gives another unmistakable indication. The sniffer dogs believe the bags contain cocaine, but now it's up to Fitz to find it. In Manchester, UK border officers are on the lookout for people bringing in more than 200 cigarettes on a flight from Gran Canaria. They spot 2 bags full of cigarettes. Kevin puts them back on the carousel, giving the passengers the opportunity to declare the excess, using the phone provided in the customs red channel. Ignoring the signs, they walk through nothing to declare. and the passengers aren't happy to hear that the goods will now all be seized.
There's no signage and we have to go and pick a phone up. No, there's nothing telling me to pick a phone up. When you walk in here... So can you categorically say I didn't go near that phone? I can do, yeah, because I watched it. I went round the back of the belt, I x-rayed the flight. I seen you pick up your bags off the belt, and I watched you walk towards the green channel. You never went anywhere near the goods to the clear channel. You walked straight into the green channel saying, yeah, not to be clear. Okay? It's going to be no tax. It's going to be seized from you today.
The red phones have been there for years, but the man's still hoping to bend the rules.
There you go. What's the crack here?
As the officers already said, there's signs out there.
No, there's nothing that says we have to pick a phone up though, is there? Come on.
We can't, there's nothing we can do. If you had declared them at the red point, you could have paid the dues.
Of course there's something you can do.
There's not.
No, I've never brought anything back in life.
Now other passengers decide to get involved.
No reason in the custody. They'd love to
it's not signs you.
I'm talking to you, mate. I'm talking to you. Well, I'm not listening to you.
Right, I'll just show you the red point where the gentleman that's just been very abusive to us about not having the opportunity to declare the cigarettes. This is where he should have come. Bringing in excess goods, you should declare them at the red point. The gentleman's argument was there was no staff behind the red point. We tried to explain that there's a red phone there for him to use, and he said, well, he shouldn't have to do that. There's no signs telling you to do that. And there quite clearly is. It says there, goods to declare, you will speak to an officer or make your declaration using the red telephone. So, he's not got a leg to stand on, I'm afraid.
And now the man decides to turn nasty.
The fact that, you know, you've got an asshole like you, and you've got a manager who's got no discretion, you're not going to be sweeping the floor.
Unfortunately, that's the way people get. It's just, they get upset because they're having a cigarette seized from them.
Despite clearly being guilty, the men haven't finished abusing the officers just yet. Back in Gatwick, the suspected cocaine smuggler picked out by the sniffer dogs is now being searched.
They did this over there, so it doesn't matter what
Sorry,
how you pack it back or whatever.
Right, oh, okay.
Because they pretty much messed it up.
Who was that?
They checked the bags and whatever across there.
They checked them before you came out, did they?
They
Right.
did the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So they pretty much messed it up, so.
Right.
With 3 separate sniffer dog indications on the bags.
Okay, I just need to do a quick x-ray of your suitcase, all right?
Yeah.
UK border officer Fitz is convinced he'll find something inside.
All right, doesn't seem to give us that much information about it, so probably have to do a further examination. I'll take it to the tool room and have a closer look, actually.
Surprisingly, Fitz can find no sign of cocaine. And even the drug swab is clear.
Well, they actually ascertain there's nothing in there. No, which is a bit of a shame, really. As it was a good indication by the dogs, I must admit.
It's disappointing, but with such strong suspicions, Fitz isn't willing to give up the search just yet.
That's the game that you plug into the television.
Right.
It's a games console dance mat, but something doesn't add up.
Has you got a PlayStation with her?
No.
So why would you have one of these anyway?
Yeah. Right, round 2. I mean, it is heavy as hell.
Fitz then spots the clue he's been after.
The actual casing looks like it's already been removed once before.
This acts like a sniffer dog. It's just looking for minute particles of substances that is stabbing his sky high. It's got to be there.
Suspicions are now even higher, but where are the drugs?
This is that rubber impregnation.
That's what I think it is.
Mm.
Ever seen it in a dance mat?
Have you tried doing it on that? You can break the
Yeah, that's what.
Have you broke a bit off of it?
No, you can do if you want to. The material's gone blue. Oh. I can't say that's a positive then.
Amazingly, the rubber inside the dance mat is full of cocaine.
The time is 10:10. I'm arresting you on suspicion of being involved in the importation of a controlled drug.
It just goes to show, with smugglers using ever more devious methods, the officers can take nothing for granted.
Anything you do say may be given in evidence, do you understand? Okay.
The officers' persistence has paid off, and yet another smuggler has been caught red-handed.
North.
The drugs were ingeniously hidden, and one member of the team deserves a special reward.
Knock yourself out, you little star. Well, he's just had his second job in 3 days to cocaine detections, which is unprecedented for such a new dog. He's only been in the job for 6 months. It's brilliant. But in the meantime, he's going to get this as a treat because it's just an unbelievable job for such a young dog.
And while Barney enjoyed his bone, the woman won't be enjoying her freedom. She pleaded guilty and could be facing around 10 years in prison. Back in Manchester, the angry passengers want to appeal against the decision to seize their cigarettes. But they're now refusing to sign the paperwork.
I had 600 cigs stuck off me when it says.
After 2 hours, the men are starting to test the officer's patience.
There you go. That is my argument. Right.
Whether it goes to appeal or not, he won't get his cigarettes back.
Okay.
You won't get your cigarettes back because you've entered the goods nothing to declare channel, stating that you've got nothing to declare. And I followed you straight to the green channel.
Dad, just it. Can't be with it. It's just job worse.
Well, I was going to say that we've got more pressing things to do than stand here arguing with you.
I couldn't agree with you more.
The already tense exchange is about to escalate.
Again, you need to just learn that you learn what? Learn. Why are you talking like that?
Don't talk to me like I'm a piece of shit, lad.
Yeah, hold on, you're the one you were talking to us like a piece of
laughing for no reason. Don't try to tell me what to do. Stand
He's having a conversation.
I'll tell you now, you have less of that now, otherwise I'll arrest you and I'll have you upstairs.
Right, let's just
pack it in now.
And they were getting quite abusive, and it was getting to the stage where we thought they might be having to arrest them for obstruction or even assault. It was getting close to them. It looked like they were going to lash out. Right, I've not been rude or abusive job. I've tried to be. Luckily, we talked them round and they've left in the end, but I'm not very happy because we had the cigarettes seized. Just straight down there and then round to your left.
The illegal cigarettes will now be destroyed. In Manchester's Terminal 2, a flight has just touched down from Dubai. A man acting strangely has been intercepted by the UK border officers. Inside the suspect's bags, Gary has found flight manuals and pilot training information.
He's just looking very edgy, very nervous, but he's got all sorts of literature on planes. He says he's just an enthusiast, but he says it looks too detailed, really. It looks like confidential stuff.
So, for you to draw a flight desk simulation of planes, where are you getting that information from? Internet. So everything that you've got in front of me here, you have copied from the internet. What? The internet, yeah. All the stuff that you have in here. Yeah. It's just something very, very strange. Yeah. So you just have a look at him and he wants to go.
I know he's looking at you.
The gentleman come through off the Dubai flight, some single traveller. He seemed nervous in the way he was entering the channels, head down, sluggish walking, avoiding eye contact with me, to be honest. Basically found a lot of literature with regards to flying flight schools, avionics of the plane, and various courses with regards to cabin crew.
As Gary digs deeper, the details become more and more incriminating.
Why have you got information about fighter planes?
Well,
combat planes, weapons.
Well, these were. I was interested during the RAA points.
You were interested in what? Sorry.
Joined the RAA for Royal Air Force.
Okay, so you're trying to self-teach yourself by learning from the internet how to fly planes.
No, from that. I'm just getting some information from the internet. That's what I'm doing.
So you're just getting some information.
The man's lack of answers is worrying Gary.
Of aircraft by the looks of where this stuff.
I'm just making a book, that's all.
So you're now making a book?
No, I'm not making a book. What I'm doing is I go on these planes all the time. You can see my passport. I went to flying school in Bangladesh. The aircrafts were too old.
What was the name of the flying school?
Bangladesh Flying School.
Okay, how long did I find Bangladesh flying school?
for? No, I wasn't there. I wasn't there for long. I just went to see.
You just told me you were at flying school.
Yeah, I went there to see the aircraft. That's all. Just to look at this stuff.
So weren't taught anything in lessons at all?
No, I've not took any like trial lessons yet. No.
Well,
I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not.
Okay, like I asked you before, are you just like sort of learning to be a pilot from information you were downloading from the internet?
No. I mean,
so where's all this information?
I've made them. I've collected. No one helped me. That's all I can say.
Well, I mean, I'm no sort of aircraft specialist, but some of this seems quite sensitive. If this got in the wrong hands, it could be quite.
Gary finds a hard drive with more aircraft data.
Aircrafts
that you've downloaded off
the internet.
Yeah. When did you last go to Bangladesh before this trip?
The man's odd behaviour and contradictions are increasingly alarming.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Don't remember. You said you travel all the time.
Yeah, I do, but it's a passport thing. I remember when travel.
You're not making sense, really.
The man's answers are becoming more vague, and his story sounds stranger all the time.
When I was young, I went to college, school, I had friends. I've lost everything. I lost my friends, mates, everything. Everyone's gone.
Doesn't seem to be able to back anything up that he's talking about. All his answers are sort of wavering. He's saying one thing, but he's not really backing it up and backtracking on things. So he's not telling us the truth about something. So we're going to swab his bag, screen it for explosives.
The officers believe the man may be involved in terrorist activities, and the suspect is saying nothing to explain the documents. Gary has called in Special Branch while they await the result of the swab for explosives. On a night shift in Dover, officers are monitoring outbound vehicles on the hunt for large amounts of cash which may be linked to crime. Ben is questioning a Polish vehicle, looking for any clues that they may have something to hide.
How much money have you brought to England with you? 3,000. And how much are you taking back to Poland now? How much money do you have left?
1,600.
Is that between all of you, yes?
No,
£1,600 each.
Ben thinks the group are telling lies.
So you each brought £3,000 to England,
yeah.
And you all take 1,600 back with you. And it's all in £50 notes as well?
Yeah.
And where did you get the money from then?
From Polish exchange point.
And they just gave it in 50s, not in smaller? Okay, that's good. If you can bring your money and yourselves and come out the car, and then we go.
The specially trained sniffer dog will now search the Polish vehicle for cash to see if the passengers are telling the truth. As Miller and dog handler Bo search the car, Ben presses the passengers on their story.
So what have you spent your money on while you've been here in England?
And fun. Clubs and drinking and stuff like that.
Okay, and you've all got 1,600.
The car is clear. But Miller picks up a cent in one of the rucksacks.
Is there more money in that bag? No?
Just show me this bag.
The man denies having any more cash, but Miller has found an envelope which gives Ben reason to believe the group are lying to him.
So that's where money's been. Was that in this bag, is it? All right. It's wages or?
Yeah, wages.
That's had money in, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so that's why the dog smells it. So have you been working in England then? I thought you came here on holiday.
Yes, those days before.
Who was on holiday? But not you. You work in England. So why didn't you say you work in England? Do you all work in England?
No, because I'm not very.
Are you sure? It's not a problem if you work in England. Just tell me if you do. You don't work in England. You're on holiday. So it's not wages that you're taking back to Poland. You sure?
Yeah.
What about yours? Is yours wages that you take home?
Yeah.
Because it 859, 803, £1,600, £1,600, So do you work in England or not? Yeah, I think you work in England. Yeah. So why you say you don't work in England? It's not a problem now. You're Polish. You can work in England.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. So you do work in England.
Yeah. Sorry.
So if it hadn't been for your wage slips, you'd have been all right.
The needless lie has been uncovered.
Obviously now that Poland's in the European Union, they can work in the UK, but for whatever reason, I don't know whether they're scared to tell us the truth, they're actually working here, or whether it's just a case of they don't want to say how much money they're taking out of the country, so they've all come out with the story that they've come here on holiday, each got £1,600 left, and then they're taking it back to Tub Highland, so it didn't really ring true. 1,600, 1,600, 1,600, okay?
It's clever really, because sometimes that happens, you know, someone lies about the amount of money they've got and then the dog will indicate on an item of paperwork that's been with their money, which is obviously why the dog indicated.
It's a barefaced lie, which officers are used to.
Sometimes we don't know why they lie, but sometimes we do find it out, and it's the smallest of reasons, really.
The passengers have done nothing illegal and are free to go. In Manchester, the officers are dealing with something potentially far more serious. They've stopped a passenger with a bag full of sensitive aircraft data. The explosive swab found no trace, but now they found evidence of multiple foreign trips paid for by someone else.
Basically, we found a lot of information about aircraft flight simulators, different magazines, different information on fuel from aircraft.
What planes are these? Are these small planes? Are they commercial aircraft?
No. The Boeing planes, aircraft, the real aircraft,
big long
yeah.
Gary calls in Special Branch to tell them about the suspect's strange story.
My mum's boyfriend pays for it as well. Not only my dad. I've got my mum's boyfriend. He's an Englishman.
Back to the back for?
Yeah.
In a climate of global terrorism, the officers need to be on the lookout for all suspicious behavior.
That's the cabin crew information.
I don't want the cabin crew, but you can keep me if you want, because I'm not doing any work on these.
This is the list of...
That's on the passport. That's on the passport.
He's flown. And does that tell him what's in his passport? 2003, 2003, he said his tape took off 34 times and landed 34 times.
Gary and the UK border officers have taken the questioning as far as they can. They now hand the suspect over to Special Branch for further investigation.
Okay, do you want to get your bags and just come and have a word with us? Cheers, mate. I mean, there's nothing secret. I won't keep a secret.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, no worries.
For Gary and the team, the strange encounter comes to an end.
It was bizarre,
I can't understand why he's doing all these trips. Just could be in his own little fantasy.
He might be a bit of a fruitcake or a chance.
The man is led away for questioning, while the border officers wait to find out the cause of the man's strange behavior.